interest. Ricky Flex, I also want to tell you something I've been watching. I watched the finale of X-Men, the animated series. I did so after the trailer came out because I wanted to see where we left off with X-Men, the animated series. And wouldn't you know, the final scene is the same scene that is previewed at the beginning of the X-Men 97 trailer. And I thought we could lead off Cape's Corner by talking about this trailer. So the first trailer, X-Men 97, drops, premieres March 20th on Disney Plus. So this trailer, Marvel is based at the beginning of it, they unveil the Marvel animation banner and with the X-Men theme song that just injects pure nostalgia into your veins. So this Marvel animation banner, this is the second animated series that is coming to Disney Plus, following Marvel's What If, right? We had season 1 and season 2 now. This year, we are set for 2 other Marvel animated series. We are having Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man dropping this year, formerly titled something else. What was it, Ricky Flex? Freshman year?
Freshman
Spider-Man
year.
freshman year?
Yes.
And we also have a second series, Eyes of Wakanda, set to debut. So this is the first of 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe animated series coming. Uh, so, Ricky Flex, are we, just to start off, or do you think these 3 series are going to be connected? Is it almost inevitable because this is the Marvel Universe, Marvel banner, Disney Plus?
God, I didn't think I was gonna answer your question saying no. There's two different. They're two weird, different timelines. And again, it's animated. Like that's so much work to do and like these side projects for Marvel and the MCU, let alone trying to keep the MCU together, and let alone we need a Marvel Jesus to save us. But now that you said it out loud and they're all coming out in the same year, crap, you're right. They
They're
will.
all connected.
They will. And again, Spider-Man, the animated series and the X-Men animated series, like they kind of overlap. Like that they will. There's no doubt they will. Now that you say it, and I'm not as excited as I would have been probably 10 years ago because like as a kid, like like we used to watch these things religiously, and now I'm like crap. Like I'm nervous they're gonna mess them up. Now I will say this looks great. I don't want to
Yeah.
jump straight. This does look great. It has the look and the feel of the 90s. Right, they retain that look even with the new like behind the scenes like directors, right, and writers. Like the lower frame per second, like hear, feel, like it's great. And again, like they said, they're honoring the 90s with the same theme song. The start of the trailer was the end of the freaking series. They already started season 2, which is a good sign, saying that Marvel's already signed off on a season 2, which means this has to be pretty damn good. And they're pretty like confirming that they see the data. People are gonna watch this, but that helps the case of hey, let's try to overlap something that people are gonna watch and see them in other stuff, so we get them to watch other stuff. So and people love Spider-Man, so you're right. This is going to overlap.
And also, they had an Easter egg right at the beginning of this trailer. Not only did we have like the end of X-Men, the animated series, that first scene with basically the death of Professor X, which we're going to talk about whether he's going to have a presence in the show or not. We have Magneto leading the X-Men, judging by the end of this trailer, and something that's been teased in the lead up to the premiere of the show. But we have the Daily Bugle headline that if you screenshot at the trailer, you have the Daily Bugle newspaper floating in the wind. You got Cyclops with the voiceover during the opening, following the last scene of the X-Men series. And it says, I wrote it down actually, is Spider-Man a mutant? Is a headline in the left side of the newspaper. And it's also an article next to is Spider-Man a mutant? Is Hellfire Gala, written by Eddie Block instead of Eddie Brock. I think that's a Sony thing. But then it says
Yeah.
photos for the article by none other than Peter Parker. These are Easter eggs that there is going to be an overlap for this animated universe. And this is not something that's so foreign to the X-Men animated series because I not only watched the finale of X-Men, the animated series, but I also was looking through some of the older episodes and I was looking for a type of crossovers with non-traditional X-Men characters. And I watched an episode with Captain America, actually,
Oh,
that I didn't remember from the animated series. And it's where Logan is, they do a flashback episode to World War II, and he's executing a mission for the Allies, a secret covert mission, and he teams up with Captain America. It's a pretty badass episode. It's
Yeah, it's
pretty
pretty
cool,
cool.
but it's not foreign for the animated series to like try and incorporate other characters. Obviously, they still have like the X-Men, core X-Men, but also, right, they're willing to work with other Marvel characters. And you talk about the crossover with the Spider-Man animated series. I think it's only inevitable that they're going to be crossing over with these new shows. Eyes of Wakanda, I think could work too, right? I think a lot of these X-Men characters have roots in like crossover roots, comic book wise, with Wakanda and with Black Panther, and I think I could totally see that happening. Um, Ricky Flex, like Professor X is dead, according
He is
to like the
dead.
end of X-Men, the animated series. When I rewatch it, he's technically not like dead. It's like his body is with Melandra, who basically saves him right before he's about to die, and due to like her magic or her powers and her medicine that she has on her world, is able to transport Professor X. But in spirit, he is going to be with the X-Men still. So, Ricky, folks, this is comic book like TV series. Do you think like we're actually just going to have Professor X be resurrected at some point in this series, or do you think he's gone forever?
I don't know if Cerebro's going to play a factor in this or what. Something's going to happen, so they have Professor X in this series, whether it's in this season or season 2. And it's going to be like the season finale where they bring him back in some capacity, whether it's in a body form or mental form. I do think somehow, some way, some magical powers will get him back. And I'm just thinking this season will be like Cyclops taking, the leadership role. Like apparently in the trailer, he looks the guy to be the guy in charge, the captain, the leader. And then it's him, the team, post Professor X, dealing with the Sentinels, and then Magneto comes to play, saying he's going to try to start his own probably school for gifted children, and get that under his control, and again start like an enemy school for enemy mutant school, and they got to fight against them, and then Professor X at the end is going to have to be like, hey, not so fast, I'm here. So I don't know. That's just conspiracies I'm thinking through, or theories I'm thinking through. I just think that there's no way they can't have him in this. He is the X-Men.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing. And I think it's going to be Cerebro that plays a part in it. And there's a key line in the finale. I did my homework. It was like, I will be with you in mind and spirit. Like he literally says that as a line. And
He's a Force ghost.
Marvel
That's what he's
and
gonna
these
be.
universes, like they try and look for the smallest details and use them, right, to bring back certain characters. Like almost like how you have like the smallest of dialogue that you can use as a background or a foundation, even with like Obi-Wan and young and Princess Leia, that is built on the foundation of the Obi-Wan series and their connection early on. Like it's just the smallest of dialogue that can be a connector, and that's what you look for with like these like cinematic universes. Yeah, and he's too big. Like he's too big of a character. You can't just have the X-Men without Professor X. You can't have a revival of the X-Men animated series and not have the glue of the freaking team. Uh, I want to talk about Magneto for a second because I didn't know he was going to have such sinister vibes right from the get go. So you could just tell from the end of this trailer, almost had like a post credit of the trailer, and Magneto saying like, "I have the last will and testament of Charles Xavier. It's all mine," in the most evil voice of all time. And I think it's only a matter of time before he's not the leader anymore. I think there's going to be an immediate divide between Cyclops, like basically the pseudo leader of the X-Men, and Magneto. Right, Magneto at the end of the X-Men animated series is not gung ho with the X-Men. The only reason he joins their side for a moment in time is that he can help potentially save Charles Xavier. That's the only reason that he was joining their side at the end there. He's going to be a villain at some point.
Totally agree. Yeah, there's no way he's not a villain. It's not like the animated series. They ended on good terms, like you said. He was just there for a time being, and then now he's back to being old Magneto, the bad guy. And especially with Charles dead, it's like there's literally no way, no one to convince him to go to the other side. So he is all in on being the ultimate like big bad in the mutant world. He is. Not like he wasn't already, but like you know what I'm saying. He's no Charles Xavier to stop him. So yeah, I love it because Magneto's such a great villain. I love the Fast Train. I love Magneto and all Ian McKellen. I loved his Magneto. Like I'm all in on Magneto.
and I need Professor X to come back because one of the best dynamics in comic book shows slash movies slash comic book history is Magneto and Professor X. Like the best of friends, but the best of enemies. Like I don't know if I can think of another relationship that works as well as it does, that's as complicated as those two. It's really, really special. And that end of the series, I was watching, I was like, I haven't seen any of these episodes in such a long time. And I was like getting emotional. If you will go and watch that series back and you watch that scene that they play at the beginning of this trailer, it's like they really take their time. It's Professor X talking to every single one of the core members of the X-Men, why they're special, how they fit in the team. And it was kind of touching. I was like, damn, this is hitting me. And then it's like Magneto at the end coming to work alongside Charles. I'm like, damn, like this is really sad. Everyone's got the tears flowing. Even Logan, like they tried to show him not crying. He covers his face, but they never actually show his tears because he's the toughest of all dudes. Something I also noticed while I was watching, the voice of Logan,
Yes.
um, not good. You know,
It was a
and
little cringe.
it's but he has great lines. The dialogue works, and the best thing about him is like I love what they did with him in the action sequences. Him and Gambit like firing up his claws right with his powers. I thought that was sick. But his dynamic with Cyclops is also top tier. It helps make the X-Men part of helps make the X-Men the X-Men. Right, is having that divide between them, and I just think that voice. It's like those are the differences between like Batman the animated series, which I think is like the greatest like comic book animated series there's ever been. I think the voice work in that is so much better than X-Men, and that's why like Spider-Man the animated series I think is so good because I think the voice work in that show is much better than X-Men the animated series. I actually have X-Men the animated series number 3 for my best animated shows. I go in the order I just said.
Yeah, I love the Spider-Man. Spider-Man's number one. Or well, Marvel wise, I love the Spider-Man. That was the first thing I did on Disney Plus when Disney Plus launched, was go back and watch Spider-Man.
Oh, the first thing I did on Disney Plus is that I was with my homies and it was like 2020 and it was I think first time we reunited at some point after the pandemic. We all tested and we all hung out. Uh but we Disney Plus just dropped. It just debuted, and we were about to watch The Mandalorian. But the first thing when we signed up for Disney Plus, we played the X Men theme song. It's the first thing we did. We went to the X Men series. We played the theme song. Stopped it after the theme song. Actually, we rewound it again. Watched it again, and then put on episode 1 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, the X-Men theme song is the best thing from the series, even though the series is great. The theme song is just iconic.
It's absolutely fire. And then one more thing before we wrap this up, Ricky Flex, and we move on with the Caves Corner. You know what I think would be a great idea? The X-Men universe, the X-Men series is known for not just the core characters of the X-Men, but they'll do side characters. Okay, they'll do like a Cable episode, right? Bishop's gonna have like a key role in this series, and he had a recurring appearance in the series earlier on. But I think it'd be cool if they had a one-off episode per season with Deadpool. I think that's something they should think about if they're gonna have the show had Cable in it, and you have Deadpool. You see the momentum that it's carrying from the trailer and part of this huge news. It would be this week with the Wolverine and Deadpool movie trailer from the Super Bowl. I think it'd be cool if you had like one-off episodes where you could just travel with Deadpool and see what he's doing, interact with a couple characters, and then you could just have fun. And hopefully Ryan Reynolds would come back to voice him.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a good idea. You're on fire today.